We invite all who would care to join us in standing with a pledge of allegiance, with a recitation of the Lord's Prayer, followed by a moment of silence. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. It is now 7 o'clock. Shelby City Council is called to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated, please. Roll call, please, Mr. Crum.
Mr. Robb. Here. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Cutler. Here. Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McGuire. Here.
For the record, Councilman Roberts contacted earlier today and said he is ill with something and did not want to spread that. Well, so heard that this evening. I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal from December 16th, 2024 to December 30th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Robb and a second by Mr. Martin to dispense with the reading of the journal from December 16th, 2024 and December 30th, 2024. Discussion? This is an unusual thing. We have two, but we had that special meeting, of course, on the 30th. I want to thank everyone for their cooperation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Robb. Here. Mr. Cutler. Here. Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McGuire. Here.
That motion passes. Now it comes to the time for public comment. Don't have any public comment, or maybe receive public comment that they would want to share with council this evening. Now is the time to make public comment. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move forward to reports from standing special committees. And you can surely tell it was the holiday season. The Community and Economic Development Committee did not meet. Public Works and General Operations Committee did not meet. And the Safety Committee did not meet. So is there anything under those committees? Anyone want to say anything at all? I think we're good to move forward. Reports of city officials, again, being the holiday season, I have no report this evening. Move forward to Mr. Crum, Director of Finance.
My department's actually been pretty busy. I do want to thank the Deputy Director Cutler. She is amazing, closing the books and getting 2025 started. So the books are closed and in balance. Thank you for everybody for assisting with that. And the various departments are working on year-end inventory and going through the fixed asset list so that we can get that ready for this year's audit. That's kind of where we are right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Crum. Any comments or questions from Mr. Crum in regard to his brief report? Hearing none, move forward to Mr. Eister, Law Director.
I will keep it consistent with those before me and say no report.
Thank you, sir. It's good to see Nick Eister with us here this evening, taking in a short. You picked a good. I mean, I don't want to say that.
Don't jinx us.
I will not jinx you. Good to have you here. Someone knocking on wood. All right, move forward to Mr. Geis, Project Coordinator.
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick items. The ordinance that we have in front of us, 34/2024 tonight, that will need to be postponed until the next meeting because there is a public hearing for that at 6:30. I believe that's the 21st. So, then one other thing, we did get good news from the land bank. They received their grant agreement from the state, so we'll start working on getting it out for bids for the demolition of the Broadway main building. So that should be sooner than later now, so that's a very good thing. So that will also include the owner of that property did purchase the Harvey Estate building there too. He'll have to pay for that by himself, but we'll welcome them to the project that way. It's much easier and everything, so. And that's all I have, Mayor.
It is good news. Are there any comments or questions from Mr. Geis in regard to his report? If not, we'll move forward to new business. We have a little something in front of you in regard to America 250 OH project of the 250th anniversary of the United States and Ohio's connection with that. And did meet with Councilman Martin and Councilman McLaughlin here recently, and we spoke about the need for the formation of an ad hoc committee. And so I think we kind of have an understanding. We passed a resolution to get the ball rolling on this. As you can kind of see, that puts us in line to engage with other communities, and there are some, I think, some advantages to some resources as a city that has been officially recognized as a American 250 OH city. So, without further ado, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, so just to expound a little bit on that, so there's America 250, there's Ohio 250, and essentially what we're wanting to do is form an ad hoc committee to kind of go over what Shelby 250 looks like. America 250 and Ohio 250, they have frameworks in place for basically activities going on the entire year. But I think one thing, and we have liaisons that are working with them, community partners and such. One thing we wanted to kind of focus and flesh out, what is our city's celebration look like for the 4th of July and beyond, just that small town. And feel that we need to have an ad hoc committee to make sure, for lack of a better term, all the trains run on time, and we have that. Because one thing that has been discussed is, well, we could tap into the bicycle days. Well, they're going to have bicycle days going on as well. So I don't think we want to take resources away from the things that are already in place, because this is kind of an add-on to that. And so I think it's befitting having an ad hoc committee. And so with that, Mayor, I would move that we form a Shelby 250 ad hoc committee.
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. McLaughlin that we form a Shelby 250 ad hoc committee. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
That motion passes. And we will, how about appoint 2 members to that? Or do you want to elect from your own? Can I remember how we did that last time?
I think we elected from our own. I think we appoint our own to our ad hoc committees.
It's fine with me.
With that, at the risk of speaking out of turn, both Mr. McLaughlin and I have pseudo-agreed, been voluntold, however you want to classify it. Since it's our idea, we can run with it. So with that, I would move to appoint Mr. McLaughlin and myself to the ad hoc committee.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Robb to appoint Councilman Martin and Councilman McLaughlin to serve on the Shelby 250 ad hoc committee. Discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
That motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. That is 2026, but it'll be here before we know it.
Indeed.
Very good.
Mayor,
Yes,
there's one other thing, and I'll be getting with Mr. Crum on this. We are going to request some funding both for this year and the following year to go into the coffers to support this. So, once, twice, I guess 3 times in a lifetime. I got chided for saying once in a lifetime because everyone's like, well, I'm going to be around 50 years. So, anyways, a once in a lifetime, once, twice, 3 times in a lifetime event, depending on your age bracket, I suppose. But that doesn't come around often, so I think we need to do its service.
Thank you. All right, the second item on the agenda under new business is the audit you have before you, a management letter in regard to the audit of the Shelby City Health Department. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. As whenever we get an audit, we want to look to make sure that there's not a finding for recovery. That is a very bad thing. Fortunately, I've never seen one in an audit that's been given us to us through the management letter, and I hope that that trend certainly continues. That said, though, we do have a two-page management letter here, and I'm just going to briefly touch on a couple of things here. There is one non-compliance finding, and there is one recommendation. The non-compliance finding has to do with, for lack of a better term, we missed the deadline by a little bit. I'm sure Mr. Crum can explain that a little bit further if anyone wants to understand that, but seems simple enough to solve. And then on the recommendation on the financial reporting, I would be lying if I understood about half of what that means as far as the different terms of engagement, et cetera. So I'm going to, at this time, I'm just going to let Mr. Crum kind of explain those two things briefly to us. But overall, I don't see it as a red flashing lights or cause for concern.
Thank you. Mr. Crum?
Thank you, sir. Our health department audit is interesting because our health department is audited by, included in the full city audit every year. But all health departments in Ohio have to have biannual audit separate from that. So that's why we have this here today. You obviously, you have to prepare financial statements for it. I elected not to hire an accounting firm to do financial statements for us because I figured, well, we can save the taxpayer some money and do it in-house. But there are some hiccups with that occasionally. The first one, the deadline, and that was what, 2022. That was my first go around with this deadline that wasn't during COVID when it was extended way out, and I just didn't realize it. So I now have a calendar reminder so that it doesn't happen again. And the second note is just a classification issue. I think one year they classified the capital outlay as materials and supplies, and in another year I missed a footnote that they required. So to combat those, I've bumped up my government auditing financials, continuing education. So hopefully I don't make those mistakes again. Still better than paying for it.
Yeah, very good. One finding, one recommendation, bottom line, so thank you. Mr. Martin.
Mayor, if you could remind me, is this something that we file with the clerk of management letter? Or I can't remember if we do that.
Mr. Crum?
As far as us officially receiving it?
I think we see.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
on
we
file.
marked it as received, yes.
All right, so in that case, Mayor, I would move that we receive this, place on file, and post to the city website. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, and a second by Mr. Cutlet, that the management letter be received, placed on file, and posted to the city website. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Robb?
Yay.
Mr. Cutlet?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
That motion passes. Thank you. Is there any other new business to be brought before council? All right, hearing none, we'll move forward to unfinished business and future use of the Main Street Fire Station. So Mr. Geis, I believe we're now at the point of getting together, Mr. Geis and myself, with Mr. Eister to see how we're going to move forward with the marketing of the building. So I would anticipate here, again, hopefully even by next meeting, to have that laid out before council how that's going to transpire. But that's our next step. Mr. Cobb.
assume that's gonna have some deed restrictions on it. Is that what you're planning on doing?
That's all the questions Mr. Exler laid out for us.
Okay. We'll get to see all that though.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Any further questions? Any other unfinished business? Let's move forward then to legislation.
Ordinance number 34, 2024, amending section 1266.13, area and height requirements, lot size, setbacks of the codified ordinances of the city of Shelby.
Move third reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, second by Mr. McLaughlin for the third reading, ordinance number 34, 2024. Discussion, Mr. Martin.
Am I understanding correctly, we need to postpone this per Mr. Guest?
Yes, sir.
Right, in that case, I would move to postpone this to the next council meeting.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, and a second by Mr. McLaughlin to postpone ordinance number 34, 2024 to the next council meeting. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Cutler?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
A motion to postpone passes. From the miscellaneous business, Mr. Martin.
Our next council meeting, we're getting into the season, I call having council meetings on Tuesdays instead of Mondays, because we have several different holidays that line up coming, but the next, the Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so it'll be on the 21st. So it's a reminder of that. But then also, I would be absent on the 21st. I have a family gathering because of the move. My other family members didn't get to meet myself. Anyways, I'll be not here for that, but I'll be here for the first meeting in February. Bells on.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous business? Mr. Martin.
Mayor, would council adjourn?
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a quick second by Councilman McLaughlin. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rob?
Yeah.
Mr. Cutler?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
The motion passes. We adjourn at 7:17. Thank you, gentlemen.